Well, the Rockies got a rare win yesterday, and today on the show, we asked the question, do the Rockies have one of the best bullpens in Major League Baseball? That and a lot more coming up next right here on the DNVR Rockies podcast. Oh man, our intro music just hits so much harder when you're coming off of a victory here. It's a Victory Thursday, and we are live with the DNVR Rockies show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app, use code DNVR365, place a bet for $5 to get $150 back in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Well, we might be back. We might be back.
We are trending towards back.
Yeah, can we hang the banner at this point? 5-25. The Rockies are in business, man. Rockies got a huge win, and I will say before we get into any of the analysis on this and all of the things that we have to talk about on our show today, it felt like the hardest fought win in Rockies history yesterday. I mean, Dollander comes out in almost the sixth inning, end of the fifth inning, and I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, it's 2-1 at that point. I think that the score was locked in at that point. And, oh man, I'm like, do we have a chance here? Like, this is going to be the toughest 4 innings that the Rockies have ever gone through. And they did it, man. That bullpen is nails.
It is. And the thing, we've been talking about how good the bullpen has been this whole year, but at the same time, they clearly, judging by the 5 losses, haven't had a lot of leads to protect.
True.
So it's like, how good really are they if you go into a game and the team's up you're down 7-3 as a Rocky, and the other team, like, yes, they're professional hitters and they're still trying to hit the ball, but the sense of urgency from them isn't like, oh, we're up 4 runs. All right, we got a good bullpen, we'll be fine. And yesterday, Dollander basically outdueled Chris Sale with the help of Brenton Doyle at the plate, and then the bullpen came in as tough a situation as you can get. I mean, my infuriating losses counter was
Dude,
my fingers were tickling,
yeah,
and tingling, I should say. But I was like, here we go. This is going to happen. And the bullpen continued to be really good, even though they had to actually stake a one-run lead too. It wasn't even, they had a very opportune chance to get a 2-run lead, and that made the infuriating losses number it was about to turn to 2, and they held a 1-run lead throughout the whole game.
The Rockies, it felt like we almost got like a 4-inning save. That's kind of the vibe that I felt, where I'm like, Dollander comes out, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be hard for them to get the win. They did get the win, and I had asked the question as the show got started of, do the Rockies have one of the best bullpens in baseball? Now, that might, on the outside, seem like an absolutely insane take. And I'm not going to make the argument that they have the best bullpen in baseball, because that's flat out not true. But I think if you're looking at, do the Rockies have one of the better bullpens in baseball, given what the Rockies have had to deal with, A, pitching at Coors Field, which we always know sets you up at a disadvantage, but B, being in the situation that you're in, knowing that you have an offense that cannot get you a lead to save your life, you're having to pitch and also having to back up a couple, I don't even know, 2-inning starts from Herman, from a couple other guys. Kyle Freeland got out in the 3rd inning the other day. Like, this bullpen has had to go a lot further than most other Major League bullpens. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Rockies bullpen is the best in Major League Baseball, but I want to add a little bit more weight to what we've seen from this Rockies bullpen than what you just see on paper, because the bullpen really has been absolutely nails so far this year. And count me as surprised, man. That has been an incredible breath of fresh air, given all the other crap we've been breathing in from the Rockies this year.
100%. Like when you are sleeping and you ever go all the way under the covers and it's like really hot and it's like gross.
Too much.
But then the second you go out of the covers, it's like the same air you were just breathing 10 seconds ago smells really fresh. The bullpen is the entire room once you come out of those covers. Everything else is that nasty under the covers that you don't look at, don't think about. And it has been refreshing to at least be able to talk about something. If you would have told us right before the season started, hey, on May 1st, you're going to be talking about a 5-25 baseball team, I would have said, wow, overall, the pitching is really bad. The bullpen's been really atrocious, and they've scored a lot of runs, but they haven't been able to hold the leads or even get leads because the starters are so bad. And I would have told you that that's probably the formula for the Rockies being this bad, but not the fact that they just straight up cannot hit. Their starting pitching has been iffy with outside of maybe a few guys who have a quality start at Coors Field is I even give add a run to an official quality start, 1 or 2 runs, because it's tough to pitch there. We know that. But the way that they've gone about this 5-25 record with the bullpen being so good is a little shocking. And you mentioned the starts from Herman and some other guys. It's like Angel Chivillé is basically a starter at this point.
Dude, I know.
He's
coming in the second inning
the
multiple
first
times.
inning, he's got to get up and stretch multiple times.
Good for him though.
Yeah, he's been nails. And you know what is also a betting trend, and I was trying to look at the exact number, but 4 of the 5 Rockies wins are in a series finale.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. I think that it means they're 4-5 to overall in series finales, or 4-4, maybe even a 500 ball club in that last game.
Odd makers might start to take notice of that final game of the series.
Yeah, they lose the first 2. You think they're out, and then they come back and at home they come back and snag one. On the road, not usually.
Cole in the chat says, I believe the weekend series versus the Giants are going to help answer the question on if the Rockies are a top level relievers in Major League Baseball. I agree with you, and we're going to talk more about this upcoming series because we're in the month of May. I mean, this is, if you look at it on paper, this is arguably the hardest month out of all of the remaining months of the season. May is a juggernaut. We talked about it earlier this week. I mean, there's not a single team in there. Maybe the Rangers and maybe the maybe the Braves. Those were the 2 teams that you were kind of like, you might be able to sneak a win in there. Every single other team is going to be a possible sweep for the Colorado Rockies. So this is it, man. Starting today, Kyle Freeland taking the mound, and there's a lot of questions on whether or not the Rockies are going to be able to build on this momentum and also just get a win or 2 in the month of May. So we'll talk more about that as we continue. But look, the Rockies are 5-25, and you had just said if we had talked to you and told you, back in, I don't know, January or February, that the Rockies were going to be 5-25 entering May, you had kind of alluded to the areas that you would be pointing out as these are the factors of us being 5-25. I also think it would bode the commentary of people saying sell the team. And I saw that you posted yesterday, because we posted the win graphic saying, the Rockies won, and it was Rory crying and whatever. And you put the over under at how many people commented sell the team at 5.5. Did you ever see how many?
No,
actually
I
commented?
didn't. I saw the first 8 replies, and there was none of them.
There was only one.
Oh, there was one. Okay.
There was one sell the team. So we hit the under. So maybe the narrative has gotten a little bit soft. Maybe we've gotten a little shallow in our narrative of sell the team. That is something I want to talk about here in our next segment. We got some more stuff to talk about with Agnos, Ryan McMahon. We want to talk about here off the top of the show. But coming up after the next break here in a little bit, I do want to hit the narrative of what happens if the Colorado Rockies actually did sell the team, because we're starting to see the national media pick up on how bad the Rockies are. And so we're starting to get that very easy opinion of, well, the Rockies just don't deserve to have a team. Colorado just doesn't deserve to have a team. They should move. They should relegate, whatever. So we'll talk about that, here in a little bit. But we got to start off by talking about Zach Agnos, because out of all of the guys that I expected to see coming in and closing out a game for the Colorado Rockies, Agnos was not that guy. I mean, you and I were texting about it in the group chat, and we thought that he was going to be a parachute for Seth Alverson, and he goes strolling out there in the top of the 9th inning to get his first ever big league save. And I got to say, I feel like that was a pretty good move.
Yeah, it's cool to see when, because the Rockies haven't had a lot of moves that have worked out this year. And Buddy Black's taken a lot of heat for that, which is fair. I mean, he juggles the lineup card. He has his 3 hole hitters hitting 0 for 34 in his last 19 games or whatever it is. It's bad. But the one thing Buddy does do is he's giving certain players different opportunities. And we were all talking in the group chat yesterday. We were like, all right, are you going to Kinley, or are you going to go another inning of Halverson? And then I saw Agnos up in the bullpen, and we were like, oh, God, you're going to go there or are you going to go to Halverson again and just see if he can go for maybe a 6-out save? And they went straight to Agnos, and he paid it off. I mean, he allowed 1 hit in the inning. It was a hit that off the bat probably had a expected batting average of under 300, maybe below 200. It was just a simple ground ball. But let's not also glaze over the fact that he faced Matt Olson. He faced Ozuna and Ozzy Albies. And I guess maybe the last
Eli White was the last guy.
Okay, so he's meat of the Braves order, which as bad as they've been this year, still that's 4 very professional hitters.
Sure.
And got through that inning. And once he got 2 outs, the 2-out base hit, I was kind of like, oh God, here we go. Something's gonna happen. There's home runs written all over this, and then he just closed it out, man. And it was cool to see. And adding the confidence that adds for Zach Agnos has got to be through the roof.
Well, if we're talking about confidence, I mean, he's got to have at least 85% confidence just given his mustache alone. So maybe you hit the final, 15, 20% confidence with that close.
The save was the final infinity stone for him. The mustache is the first 3. Him making the majors this year was 4. Now the first save is 5, and he's got the whole.
If the Rockies are going to suck, at least have some fun with it. Get the Raleigh fingers, little handlebar mustache going out there.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It's
way
electric,
thicker
especially
than mine.
given the fact that he's my height. And so it's one of those things that, I always look at, I'm like, man, maybe if I had put that mustache on going through my college days, I would have been a closer for the Colorado Rockies.
How many pounds do you think he has on you? If you guys are the same height,
he's got 50. He's got 50
bro.
pounds on me. I called him a pit bull, dude. Dude looks like, he's not even like jacked. He looks like a bowling ball. Yeah, he's just thick.
The Rockies have the thick boy bullpen for sure. I mean, Jake Bird's a little tall and skinny, but between Halverson, Agnos,
Tyler Kinley is just
Kinley,
jacked.
You've got some thick boys.
Jaden Hill even.
How long will it be until we get an ass comment for Agnos? And we get all these ass comments for Tolia and for
Dollander made the list. Jordan Beck. Yeah. Now we need to get the circumference.
A few more saves for him, and we're going to be getting some ass comments. I can't wait.
I love it. You said it already. I give Bud Black credit on going to Zach Agnos there. Not something I've said very often, just given the way that the lineup's been managed. But I'll also remind you, because there's a lot of people right now who are very upset at how Bud Black has managed this lineup, and I'm not taking that away from you. But I will say, the Rockies are still trying to win games, and I know that that's going to come as a frustration point for a lot of people, because the easy argument is, well, the Rockies suck, so why would they even try to keep winning games? They should just play their young hitters, play their young pitchers, no matter what, just to give them trial by fire. The reality is Bud Black's trying to put together a winning lineup every day, even if their best hitter on the team is Kyle Farmer or Nick Martini, and that's just the reality of it. So I understand everyone kind of preaching and saying like, oh my God, why is he not playing Amador more? Why is he not, going towards Zach Veen? Why is Zach Veen not getting those starts over Sean Bouchard in right field? And that's the answer. I know it's probably not going to make people happy, but that is the answer. But I will say, having Zach Agnos coming into close there, Zach Agnos has 47 saves in the minor leagues. He's been there before. Giving him the opportunity there in a game that doesn't matter wins and losses wise, but from a morale standpoint, you haven't, won a game since the middle of April. That was the right move. So good to see Zach Agnos in there. We got to talk about Ryan McMahon though, because Ryan McMahon, I don't know what we do with him, man. And I love Ryan McMahon, the guy. He's a great clubhouse guy. We've said it plenty of times. But what do you do with his bat right now? He is 0 for, 37 right now? 0 for 30 something. He's batting 0.57 in the month of April. He's got 20 something strikeouts.
I was going to say that's part of the biggest issue is he's striking out a lot. And
28 Ks. Yeah.
Buddy alluded to this in this presser yesterday, which I took in my first full Bud Black presser from my office, but I was watching it, and you're pretty keen on these now, so I was like shocked at his tone and just the acting like
after a win, no less.
Yeah, and he basically acted like they should have won, which I mean, you gotta have the kind of that mindset, but there's a difference between being, completely delusional and just being confident. Yeah. And so his tone kind of shocked me, but he talked about Ryan McMahon and the fact that the other day, must have been either Monday or Tuesday, he had 3 walks in a game. And when you're struggling and you have 3 walks in a game, and you're not only struggling, we talked about 0 for 37 or whatever it is, but he's struggling and striking out a ton. So, trying the torpedo bat, if he can't even hit, give him a fucking wiffle ball bat or give him a tennis racket, and he's probably not hitting a baseball right now. So that's the interesting part is he walked 3 times. You're like, oh, okay, maybe, he's seeing the ball a little bit better, but then, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you're seeing it. If you can't put the bat to it, you're kind of hosed. And that's where he's at right now. And I predicted this yesterday. We'll see if Buddy actually does it, but you cannot let him hit third again. He's got to be 7 or 8. I mean, there's a lot of MLB teams that are successful with players like Ryan McMahon in terms of not necessarily his performance this year, but who he is on average, because he's a great defender. And that was one of the comments too. He could roll over and let it affect his total game, but he's playing great defense, and a phenomenal defense at third base. And a lot of really good baseball teams, if you look, take maybe the Dodgers out of it because they have everyone, but you get a bunch of good, there's always one infielder that's just really good at defense that hits 180 or 200. It's just kind of how it is. And do I want him to be that guy for us? No, because we have multiple guys that are doing that right now, but he has a place on certain teams. It's just for him to be sitting in the 3-hole every single day and not producing for anything. It's tough.
Well, that was the question is his glove good enough to keep him in the lineup, right? He's got the longest hitless streak in Rockies history. That is not a stat that you want to hold, or a record that you want to hold. I would make the argument at this point, his glove is absolutely good enough to keep him in the game. I mean, I even said this yesterday, he almost scored a run or saved a run, if you will, with his glove yesterday defensively on that ball that he picked up, that diving play on third base that he made with Dollander when on the mound. So yeah, it sucks, and I understand moving him down in the lineup. I understand all of that, but you got to have him in the lineup just because of his glove. I mean, he's too good in the infield. He leads all of Major League Baseball in third baseman assists. I actually think at this point he's on track to pick up his first Gold Glove if he continues to play like this. He's leading Arenado in that category right now. So you got to keep his glove in the lineup. You just have to pray, fingers crossed, and pray that his bat can come back up at this point. And you also need him in the clubhouse as well. He's a good guy to have around there. We got to hit our break, hitting the 15-minute mark here on the show. After the break, though, I want to ask the question, do the Rockies have a current person who is the front runner for an All-Star? And if that is the case, who is that front runner for the All-Star selection? I know we're pretty early, but we'll answer that when we come back. We got to give some love to our friends right now over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets easier and faster and also more affordable. I'll throw that out there as well. And that's a huge part about it because the Game Time app, and you've heard us say it and preach it at nauseum here on the show, the Game Time app, as you get closer and closer to first pitch, tip off, puck drop, whatever it is, tickets get cheaper. Spencer, you were saying you went to the game the other day, waited, a couple minutes before first pitch, able to open up the Game Time app, and you're picking up, $10 tickets right before first pitch. It is incredible. You get pretty good seats too. They've got a lot of options. So if you're trying to go to, who plays here in Denver? Is it the Avs today?
Avs are today in Denver.
So there might be some last minute deals available on the Game Time app. Be sure to head over to the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that app. Create an account. Use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Well, DNVR Rockies is also brought to you by UC Health, the official healthcare partner of the Colorado Rockies. And with summer right around the corner, it is a perfect time to get back on the health train, as I like to call it, to get back to living your healthiest version of yourself. Get outside a little bit more, get that fresh air, take some extra walks, go take the dog out for an extra, hour to go on that maybe that hike that you like to go on. Go ride your bike, whatever it is. Take that extra step, just little things to add up and live your healthiest life. So learn more about living like there is tomorrow. Go to uchealth.org for more information. UC Health, live extraordinary. So we've got an all-star that has to be named for the Colorado Rockies.
Which I love, by the way. People hate that. I love it. One guy deserves to be it's because it kind of prevents let's have 11 Dodgers on the NL
it does.
All-Star
Absolutely.
team,
And it would be 11 Dodgers. It would be an entire Dodgers team. It's like when you watch the WBC, which I'm absolutely over the moon about, by the way. I'm so excited for the WBC. But, you see like the Dominican Republic team, you look at that team, or you look at like Team Japan or something like that, and it looks like an all-star. Like it's just, Team Japan is the entire Dodgers team, and, the Dominican Republic team is like all of San Diego. It's like that, like those are the lineups. I enjoy the spreading it out a little bit for the All-Star game. If there's going to be an All-Star for the Rockies and you had to choose today, who's your pick?
It's the guy that I single-handedly shat on for the entirety of spring
Snake
training.
turd?
Snake turd.
Snake turd.
Snake turd is by far the Rockies All-Star this year. Of
course.
I do think Brenton Doyle in the games, like if you just boil down his season to the games he's been a part of, which, you know, with some injuries, some crazy family stuff, but the games he's actually played in, if you just put those together, I think, and he continues to be healthy up until the All-Star break, I think he'll have a legit shot too, with how he's swinging it and playing a level of defense that almost no center fielder gets to. But right now, if they had to choose the All-Star team today, Jake Bird, I think he's still leading the major leagues in bullpen strikeouts. He comes in and pitches every time he pitches like at least an inning and more. Like it's 1 2/3 innings almost every time. He's been nails. And so I think you got to give it to Jake Bird.
If you're going based off of Circle of Trust nominations each week, it's Jake Bird. He's been the most trustworthy Rocky this entire season, which is bonkers that is the guy that we say. Now, realistically, it's going to be Brenton Doyle. Like if Major League Baseball has its way and they, you know, I can't remember, is the All-Star game fan voted?
I think fan vote.
I know it used to be.
It has a decent amount of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I just realized I hadn't thought about that in a while. If Major League Baseball could have its way, Brenton Doyle is the most recognizable Rocky at this point, I would say. I mean, you look at when Bryce Harper did that whole TikTok thing before the season started and he was building a team and, you know, the Rockies popped up and he was like, oh, Brenton Doyle, like that guy's a beast. You know, like if you're outside the city of Colorado and you know the Colorado Rockies, Brenton Doyle is probably the name that pops up in your head. Maybe Ryan McMahon now that Charlie Blackmon's gone. So Doyle, most likely, if he continues to play just up to par, he'll probably be it. But Jake Bird is putting a pretty good resume together for the All-Star game. And I wouldn't be against it, man. He's been lights out.
Yeah, and then he's the perfect guy that he stars in the All-Star game, and then we trade him for something else at the trade deadline, which would make me actually sad at this point.
I know.
The reversal I've done on
your favorite player.
The reversal I've done on this guy is legendary. I have never had a player that I disliked more, and it was maybe a little bit unfounded because there's not a lot of players on this team that you're like, oh, you should like them. They're so good. They're helping you win. Nobody's helping them win right now.
Yeah. Tovar's injured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And other than Jake Bird. And like you said, Brenton Doyle will have a legit shot at it because he's like, I think, you know, what's funny about how little wins they have this year is it's May 1st and every win I still remember. Like I still am pretty dialed on, you know, the Dodgers have 19 wins. Their fans are like, you know, we won this game and that game, but
I think even the diehards 21 wins now. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. See, I still remember all 5 wins very clearly. And at least 3 of them, Brenton Doyle was the center, including yesterday, the center of it. He homers, he gives them the lead. Like he doubles in the later innings. Brenton Doyle is the center of any of the Rockies wins right now.
Yeah, Cole says you got a man crush on Doyle. Absolutely. Doyle is the coolest player on the Colorado Rockies, and that's saying something.
You ever seen a dude with a cow skull and crossbones on his forearm you didn't want to fuck with?
Yeah. Have you seen how he plays in the outfield? Yeah. Also, by the way, when him and Jordan Beck almost ran into each other the other day and Doyle ended up bailing out on that fly ball because Beck was not calling for or whatever happened, Doyle looked so pissed in that moment. I'm like, damn, I would not want to be Jordan Beck there. So Doyle's a stud, man. Come on, give him his credit. There was an interesting point though that was brought up in the chat about the fans saying that the Rockies All-Stars selection, the fans. We've been seeing this narrative getting tossed around a little bit now that the Rockies are starting to make Major League Baseball headlines as the worst team, possibly in the history of our great game that is Major League Baseball. And you sent it to me. Who was it that was talking about if the Rockies have the best fans in baseball? I think it was on ESPN.
I believe it was Buster Olney.
Oh, no, you're right. It was a podcast and it was Buster Olney, and I think it was Kirkchin that were talking on a podcast, and they were trying to make the argument that the Rockies have the best fans in baseball. Now, we're homers. We're Rockies fans. So from a biased perspective, I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, absolutely, Rockies have the best fans in baseball. But as an analyst, Do you think the Rockies have the best fans in baseball, or do you think their points that they're making about like, oh, Rockies fans show up even when the team's bad? Do you think that's more misguided in why fans are showing up?
I do think that there's not the spotlight on the Rockies from a national media perspective. So I do believe it is a little bit misguided. But once I heard that and the more I started thinking about it, like, yes, attendance it's not great this year, but let's go back to the last 2 years. Attendance is pretty solid and the ballpark is great, but as great as it is, there's not, 15, 20,000 people per game that go there just for the ballpark.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it, I was like, maybe like
It is
there are
some. It is a lot of opposing fans, though.
No, that is fair. Yeah. If you had a pie chart of, we should like make a pie chart and somehow try to figure this out. Rockies fans and this part enjoying Coors Field here, opposing fans here, and see where that falls, because it's definitely not 33, 33, 33. Yeah. But I would say for most games, like Braves fans show up. There's a few teams though, like the Reds. When we went to the game on Friday night, I mean, granted, there was like nobody in the seats because it was freezing ass cold. But most games, I would say, if I had to guess at that pie chart, I'd say it's 20% Rockies fans, 30% fans of Coors Field and drinking beer at a beautiful location,
best bar in Denver,
and then probably 50% of the other team's fans. And that can go up to 50, 60, 70 when it's like Dodgers or it's Cubs. Like the Cubs, when they come here, it's going to be blue. The entire third base line is going to be blue. But I do believe there is a good amount of Rockies fans. And when they look at it in the national lens, the interesting thing, and we've talked about this, is the Rockies with a good baseball team will get people to show up. And that's where I really do believe, like, seeing all these stories come out about the Rockies shouldn't have a baseball team. It obviously hurts my heart because of how big of a fan I am. But when you break it down, I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays shouldn't have a baseball team. They put on a winning product, they're very deep in the analytics game. They trade and find all these interesting, almost a Moneyball type of status where they're not signing superstars, yet they're always good. And they have these guys that are just, they started basically the bullpen games and going to openers. Like, they've done things a very different way, put a very different and good product on the field, and the fans still don't show up. So that's where I lean towards more that Rockies fans are great because they do show up a ton. Whether or not that is a little misguided based on who those fans in the stands and those ticket buyers are could be a little off, but they have a deep fan base. And with our just geographical location, I mean, Nebraska people are Rockies fans. Wyoming people are Rockies fans. The Dakotas, I mean, we're the closest team to most of like middle America until you get closer to like,
time zone almost. I mean, besides Arizona. No, I said that because this guy, Dan Clark Sports, super annoying follow on Twitter, by the way. He posted the dumbest little list of 10 steps to make Major League Baseball better. And his third step was ditch the Rockies. They suck. So my response to that was, first of all, like, ditching the Rockies. And again, I'm a homer, but ditching the Rockies kills baseball for pretty much an entire time zone of people aside from Arizona. And also, if you've been around Denver sports fans, this could be a baseball city. You're right, the team does suck. I'm not arguing that they don't suck, but there is a market for baseball here in Denver. The fans just aren't going to be showing up 50,000 fans per game for a 5-25 baseball team. Like, there is going to take an attendance hit when it comes to that kind of stuff. The solution to that is you've got to make adjustments from the top down on putting people in place who know how to win. And again, that's a super vague statement of, what does know how to win look like? But obviously the formula isn't working right now. Getting rid of baseball in Colorado is not the answer to that. It is making adjustments on the strategy and how you go about winning here so that you can give the fans what they deserve. People in Colorado deserve a winning baseball team. The fans show up, whether it's a good team, a bad team, or somewhere in the middle. The fans still show up to Coors Field every day, whether it's for the other team, for the stadium, for the drinks, or for the Rockies. And if you give them a product that's good, the fans are going to respond to that. Look at how the fans are responding to the Avs when the Avs became good. The Nuggets were the joke of the NBA when they sucked. And look at them now, right? Like, this is a sports city that craves good sports teams. And the Rockies, if they were a good sports team, would absolutely show out at Coors Field every single day. I think there'd be thousands of people tuning into this show if that was to happen, So that's the situation we're in. That's why I think these takes of like, the Rockies need to leave, they need to be relegated, they need to move to a different city are stupid, because it's like you just don't know baseball in Colorado then. The Rockies suck. That doesn't mean baseball in Colorado, is just done.
Yeah, it's not. They want it. We want it. I guarantee you put a 500 baseball team after the last 2 years and what this year's looks like it's going to be. You put a 500 competitive baseball team with a few fun players, and that place will be rocking. I guarantee it.
Yeah, give me the not to be named Oakland or Sacramento A's. Like the A's are a semi-manageable team right now. We've got some guys that are leading baseball in certain categories, and you've got some all-star players who are actual all-stars, and like they're fun to watch sometimes. Yeah, they're going to lose a couple games here or there, but they are fun to watch at times. Like that's all I need. We don't need to be the Dodgers out here. And to be completely honest with you, the Rockies will never, ever be the Dodgers, because that's not what the market of baseball looks like here in Colorado. We aren't LA. We aren't New York. But again, just like the Nuggets, who were the joke of the NBA, after the Carmelo years, the Rockies can also find a way to do that. There just needs to be a lot of other things from the top down that get changed and all of that crazy stuff. I know you're a homer. I know you are the type of guy that goes to every single game, no matter how good or bad the Rockies are. But like, if you took yourself out of that mindset, would you still go to games? Because there's a lot of people who are like, boycott the games, whatever. Like, would you still go to games this year? 5-25 if you weren't like covering the team, if you weren't, just this sick fan.
I'd have to take off my sicko fan hat and try to think about it logically. I mean, my brother's a very good case of this. We grew up watching the Rockies every single night. We played baseball together all the time. We were there for game 163 in 07. Been going to games forever. And he actually came to the game Friday very reluctantly, but he is very much I'll go again once they sell the team. And that's a fair, I don't hate on the people that think that way. I'm just not going to let something completely out of my control take over my shine for the fact that I love the game of baseball and I love the Rockies. And these, like you said, the Nuggets had I was at every Nuggets game. I had season tickets when they had the freaking worst team in the league, and they had Brian Shaw as their coach, and it was a disaster. And now I get to see them win a championship. And I was at the first season I went to Avs, and I had this season tickets for the Avs, was the 48-point season, one of the worst seasons in hockey history. And I still was there 30 times that year. Yeah. And those moments make, if the Rockies win a World Series in my lifetime, I might spontaneously combust. I got to get the tattoo first, and then just let me be. I will never, because
you could die happy.
We have to deal with this, but these tough times make the good times that much better. And I'm not saying we deserve these tough times, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to change and they shouldn't sell the team. I'm just saying, I am still going to go, and I still put the Rockies on every time they're playing, because I love sports. I love the Rockies, and I love baseball.
Baseball's too good of a sport to ignore, no matter how bad the team is. I get it. I'm not going to hate on anyone who's not going to games, but baseball is just too good of a sport. Hey, we got to take a break. Before this season, though, I did make 25 predictions for 2025. Do you want to see how wrong I was?
Yes.
Let's do
25 predictions at the 25 loss mark, which is May 1st.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do that when we come back. All right, we got to give a shout out to our friends right now over at Toyota. Toyota is the official vehicle of the Rockies, of DNVR, and could not be happier with my Toyota. I have been driving a Toyota since I was old enough to drive, maybe even a little bit before that, when my dad let me drive his Toyota around when I was younger. But hey, Toyota is an incredible car. They have so many different options, so many different choices, and the saying always goes, however long you think a Toyota can last, just add an extra 100,000 miles to that, because that's how long they last. My Toyota has 250,000 miles, and it is still kicking right now. I might as well use it all the way up until 400,000 miles. But I will say I am looking to get a new Toyota at some point here soon, and so many different choices: 4Runner, RAV4, the Tundra, which Spence drives around. So many choices. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you: AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Also want to give some love to our friends over at Bet365 because every single sport is epic with Bet365. And can we get out of the baseball betting for a moment? We've got some crazy games tonight. Rockies, obviously, tonight. Nuggets and Avs. What does your Bet365 account look like tonight?
I am betting on Cale Makar to have a big game.
Cale Makar.
He has been kind of rough in this playoff series, and I think it's do or die for the Avs, and I feel really good about the Avs and Nuggets may or may not win both of these series, but every single game that is a do or die for them, which the Nuggets haven't had one yet. They kind of did, actually. Game 4 was a do or die. You go down 3-1, you're cooked. And the Avs, same thing. Go down 3-1 in Game 4, you're cooked. And they came out and absolutely dominated. So I'm going to go pretty big on Cale Makar tonight. I think he scores a goal. And then I also think Nikola Jokic has a huge night. I don't know if the Nuggets are going to win tonight, and that's not necessarily a hot take. I hope they do. But Nikola Jokic had a pretty quiet triple-double, which is just insane, the luck we get to watch him. He had a pretty quiet triple-double in Game 5, and I think tonight he goes off. That usually doesn't mean well for the Nuggets, and that means Murray probably doesn't get 43, but I'm going to take his points, rebounds, and assists at like 50, 52, 55, somewhere in that range is always a pretty good bet.
Throwing any money on the Rockies?
Yes, I am on the Giants.
I love it. Hey, if the Rockies are going to lose, you might as well make money off of it. That's our motto here. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Deposit $10 or $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, 25 predictions for 2025.
This is going to be so good.
We did this, or I did this, I should say. I'm not gonna wrap you into this. Not yet.
Mine would have been worse. Like it would have had to be a full show by itself of shitting on me and how bad my predictions are.
I mean, some of these I already know what you would have said on these, but 25 predictions for 2025. Posted this in January, and now that we're just a little over a month into the season, we'll see how close we were on some of these. Number 1 prediction for 2025. I said the Rockies will have a record of 72-90.
That's really close to where I had him.
That's where I had.
I think I had it exactly 72-90 or 70-92.
I think coming into the year, we felt like that was possible. It was a stretch, and I even said it in the article. Like, this is a stretch, but the bullpen's going to be better, which we were right on. And we figured we were going to have starting pitching again, or at least a version of our starting pitching again,
which we did for weeks.
We did, and we just figured the bats would be existent. Like, that's all we needed. Nolan Jones was still, possible at that point, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think they're getting to 72-90. I think 20 wins is going to be in that range. Number 2, Chase Dollander will make his MLB debut in the month of May. A surprisingly earlier start. He got it by April, which I was shocked on. So I got that one wrong, but I was pleasantly surprised that he came in April. I thought they were going to wait till at least May.
Yeah, he came in, and now he has more wins than the entire Rockies starting pitching rotation by himself.
Yeah, that is sad. 2 wins for Chase Dollander. Number 3, do we win our first game? I said no. Got that one right. We did not win our first game, and we should have.
And
we should have.
That started the infuriating losses counter. We started off really early, or late March.
That started the Fire Bud Black train right out of the gates, man. 67 pitches. Kyle Freeland got pulled after having a gem of a start. We did not win our first game. Number 4, who is the biggest pitching surprise positively for the Colorado Rockies in 2025? I said it was going to be Ryan Feltner.
Well, that's not that bad because of the 5 starters, he is number 2 closest to the Chase Dollander is firmly the closest to Circle of Trust after beating the NL Cy Young winner yesterday. But Feltner's been the only other guy that's you're like, I bet he gives us 5 and I bet he allows 3 or less runs, which on our scale, that's where we're at. That's on our scale of Rockies' success. He is the best starter we've had all year. I mean, Dollander's been good, but he's been the most solid. I think his ERA before his last start was under 4. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Can I get a half point for that?
Yeah,
then?
you get a half point for that.
And also plenty of time still left to go. Number 5 is a good one. Nolan Jones will bounce back to shades of his former self.
Well,
he's tough.
Not doing that, and he's not doing that for the Rockies. So that's you got -2. Yeah. We gave you a half point on the last one. You get -2 for that.
That's brutal. Yeah, Nolan Jones is not doing well despite hitting a home run the other day, and he is also not playing in a Rockies uniform. Number 6, Big Mike Tolia will be in the Gold Glove conversation in 2025. He's not been bad. I don't think he's in the gold glove conversation yet. This Rockies offense, or defense, I should say, has been surprisingly atrocious. So I'm going to go no on that one for number 6. Number 7, Brenton Doyle will win his 3rd consecutive gold glove. He's on pace. He hasn't made an error in the outfield yet. He's had a couple good catches. His sliding catch the other day that the Rockies admin did not post on social media was really, really good. Doyle looks as good as ever.
Yeah, he once you get in the MLB, it's kind of like there's a lot of popularity vote in sports for all-star teams and this and that. But the MLB kind of feels like once you win a gold glove, you're already pretty much in the top 3 for next year. And then you have to have a lot go wrong in order to be like left out. Like, unfortunately, and his season hasn't gone the way we predicted either, but Ezekiel Tovar is a perfect example of that. Won a gold glove, but he's leading or has one of the most errors of any shortstop in the entire MLB, and that's what takes you off of it.
Yeah.
But once you win a gold glove, if you continue to just make a few splash plays that get on SportsCenter and then just play solid defense, you're already in that top 3 conversation, and then somebody else kind of has to beat you out.
Also, side note, did you see that catch by Dalton Varsho? Was it 2 days ago?
I did not.
Where he fell over and got up and caught it as he was he tripped. He was running back on a fly ball over his head in center field, trips on the warning track, gets up and basically like reaches behind himself and catches it. Coolest catch of the year. I was like, that's, yeah.
Yep, SportsCenter top 10 for the rest of the year.
Easy. And I'm, last year I tried to make the argument Brent Doyle is the best center fielder in all of baseball, and I had some people saying like, oh, Dalton Varsho is, he's right there up there. That's a pretty good catch. Number 8, Thairo Estrada will exceed expectations defensively up the middle with Tovar. Yeah, Thairo Estrada just hasn't existed for the Rockies.
You get an
year.
Incomplete on that. You don't lose a point if the guy doesn't even play a regular season game until hopefully this month. Hopefully he comes back in May.
Exactly. All right, here we go. Number 9, Zach Veen will overtake Jordan Beck to lock down the remaining outfield position. Not happening. It's not happening. Good. And I saw, who was it? I think it was Felix in the chat earlier was talking about Jordan Beck possibly being the Rockies, I don't know, all-star, pick this year. Maybe it wasn't Felix. Oh, yeah, no, it was Felix. There it is. Imagine if Jordan Beck gets the all-star pick. I don't see it, though. His strikeouts when the game is on the line, killing me, man. You're killing me. I almost turned off the TV yesterday when he struck out with a guy at 3rd.
Yeah, and I think there's still an opportunity for Zach Veen to overtake an outfielder, if you will, but I don't think Beck is the guy. I think as bad as everybody's been, Beck's at least got the score and ESPN update with who the heck is Jordan Beck on it.
He did.
And when you have that, that's about as much as we can get. And so I think by the end of the year, maybe Veen starts a lot of games in right field, and a Veen, Beck, Doyle outfield is kind of what we were hoping for at some point. So I don't think that's kind of an incomplete because Beck's played not good, but good enough to warrant continuing
and
to start.
Besides that mess up in between him and Doyle, he's been serviceable in the outfield. Ryan McMahon will be in the trade conversation again by the trade deadline. I'd like to say yes, but hitting 057 in April is going to kill that.
Yeah, he's going to have a stellar May. Maybe somebody wants him for his glove still.
I would think someone would want him for his glove, and he's got upside on his bat, but his bat has had some slumps. Also, this isn't like a one-off slump. He's had slumps like this every year. I mean, if you remember at the end of last year, he was hitting 112 in the second half of the season last year. I think he got up to like 120 something by the end of the season. Like that's not good, So I don't know. I don't know if Rymack will even have enough value to be in the trade conversation for the Rockies. Rockies will have 2 All-Star nominations. I said Doyle and Tovar. I don't think they're having 2, but if they have one, it's going to be Doyle is my guess. So
Doyle and Bird.
That'd be good. Number 12, Kyle Farmer will end up catching at least one game. I did put crazy if true. That would be insane. What a stupid prediction by me. Aside from Jacob Stallings, Hunter Goodman picks up the most innings at catcher. Romo needs to get his back going. That's correct.
Yeah.
Romo's hurt, so he's not really catching right now.
I think you might lose that, but Hunter's been good enough that his bat's in the lineup, but he's just playing too much DH to actually win that prediction.
I'm okay with him.
But the crux of that prediction was that Hunter Goodman's bat and play is good enough to warrant being in the lineup, and you were correct.
Yeah. Jaden Hill finishes with the best bullpen ERA. Nope, that's not happening. Also, Jaden Hill's been one of the worst bullpen guys for us so far in spring training and his brief start, his brief relief outing. I'm not going to hold that too much against him, but he's got an uphill battle to climb. Seth Halverson becomes your new closer. That's still up in the air. Agnos, had a good close, a good save yesterday, but it's still up in the air. Number 16, of the new signings, Estrada, Herget, and Farmer. Estrada will end up having the most successful season with the Rockies, mostly because he'll play more. Again, that's probably an incomplete. Of the new signings, Herget will struggle the most as he navigates his stuff at Coors Field. Maybe.
Yeah,
he's not doing great.
He's been okay.
He's been
but
fine.
Not like
out of all the bullpen pitchers, he's not the best.
No, exactly. In the realm of the Rockies bullpen, which has actually been surprisingly good, he hasn't been like the bright star. There's like 3 or 4 more above him.
Yeah, no, not at all. Let's see. This one was about Charlie Condon. Charlie Condon will end up in Hartford by the end of the season. He's been injured, so that's another incomplete. Bud Black will get upset at a reporter for asking about a minor league prospect before for at least 5+ times. And I put there a little caveat: if you know, you know. You're starting to see that now. You got to watch the post game yesterday, and you saw Bud can get a little snippy if you ask the wrong question, even after a win. So I could still see that picking up as the season gets going. Rockies' average attendance will be less than last year's average of 31,000. We are well on our way for that. I think we're going to be in the mid-20s on attendance this year by the end of the season. The new City Connect jerseys will contain the Colorado flag, but not 5280. No, right? That doesn't really have anything with the flag.
No, I think it has the C on it, which is like kind of part of the flag, but that is a...
No, so that's a no right there. A game will get delayed or canceled due to snow at least once. We did get our first snow delay or reschedule, I should say, since Friday, May 20th, 2022. So that one's a win. Charlie Blackmon will be the celebrity guest for the Savannah Bananas. That has not happened yet. And an NL West team will win the World Series. You be the judge of who you think that will be. That has also not happened yet. There's some that are still up in the air. That's all 25 predictions, but there are some that I am just so off on.
Yeah, that last one, maybe people are going to say it's like, oh yeah, the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are good. The Padres are really good. The Giants are really good. And the Diamondbacks have been decent, but they went on a run 2 years ago to the World Series with a decent-ish regular season. So
some good pitching.
Yeah, the Rockies division is absolutely stacked.
Well, we got to hit our last break. After the break, though, we preview this upcoming series coming up here for the Rockies against the juggernaut of a Giants team in San Francisco. We'll also do our tweet of the day, and we'll wrap up the show here coming up next. Well, look, one of the best parts of baseball season is Coors Light. We all know that. And we got to bring our intern, Nate, out there to Coors Field for the first time. He got to experience a nice, cold, refreshing Coors Light the other day. And I'm just counting down the days until we can get back out to Coors Field when the Rockies come back. I think they're coming back against, the Tigers? I think the Tigers are the next series at home. So
maybe some Tariq Skubal back in town.
A little Coors Light to pair with Skubal. The Rockies do technically play better against the best pitchers in baseball than they do against the most average pitchers. So, that could be a fun matchup there. But whether you're at Coors Field, at home, watching the Nuggets tonight, the Avs tonight, or whether you're at the bar with friends, Coors Light pairs perfectly with any environment that you're in. So make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instant Cart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. Also, got to give some love to our friends over at Raising Cane's. Flavor fast. Get that flavor fast at Raising Cane's. When I go somewhere to get food, I don't know. Maybe this is I don't know, what generation am I even from? I was born in 1997. I'm not a millennial, but I don't know. I like to get my food fast. I'm a fast food guy. I don't like to wait for 30 minutes. When I went to London for the first time, I'm sitting there for like an hour waiting for my food, and they're like, yeah, this is just London. Everyone waits for things. No. I'm from America. Like, we get stuff quick, right? I expect this to be out to me as fast as possible, and that's why I love Raising Cane's. On top of that, the fact that they have incredible hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers. They've got those crinkle-cut fries that are to die for, and everything comes out super fast. It is great flavors. It's really good. You can't go wrong with Raising Cane's. Dive into Flavor Flav's faves. Wow, that is a good one.
Tongue twister.
Yeah. It's Cane's o'clock, man. I might be heading over to Raising Cane's after this to get some lunch. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. That reminds me, when I was the public address announcer for the Spokane Indians, we had a we had a read that was Tire Emma Cooper tire roll, and that one was
Wow, you've
had
said
to
that
do
a few
one.
times.
I've said that a good amount of times. First couple times I said that over a mic, that was it was rough though. But look, we gotta. It's well, this is technically our Friday show because we're golfing tomorrow.
Playing golf.
We're playing golf.
Can't
tomorrow
wait.
With some Coors Lights, some good times. The weather's supposed to be
beautiful.
nice. So we moved our show to Thursday instead of Friday. But our last show of the week, we always do our tweet of the day. And Riley, you want to throw up that tweet of the day here in a second? I believe this was from our friend Jeff, follower, a guy who we've responded to a couple times on Twitter. He says, "Billy, this is Buddy Black. Overall, he's a solid pitcher with a great personality and used to be a pitcher, so he knows how to manage the team. His defect is he can't construct a winning roster to save his life, and every time something goes wrong, he just says that's baseball with the picture of Moneyball." Incredible A+ tweet there. I do feel like that encapsulate the entire optics around Bud Black this entire season so far.
Yeah, that's baseball. Like tomorrow
baseball,
when we hit bad golf shots, we'll just say that's golf.
I love that.
We can just make it the Bud Black, the Buddy Black saying.
Can I just say how excited I am to get back out on the golf course, by the way? Like just good weather.
Oh yeah,
the DNVR,
the
golf
DNVR tournaments are fun, and the fact that we have like when I schedule a tournament in early May, I'm always like, well, it could snow, it could be great, and it's going to be 75 degrees. I know this is presented by Bet365, and Felix had a little prediction there of Nuggets, Avs, and Rockies all winning. Felix, that is plus 1388 on the Bet365 app with you can get a 5% parlay boost on it. So I might take that for a little bit and just see. I'm normally not a bet on my teams guy, but I would consider taking that. And if we get it, I'm telling you, like I said, I'd spontaneously combust if the Rockies win a World Series. If all three teams win tonight and then I just get to wake up and play golf tomorrow, I might not give the Rockies a chance. I might just spontaneously combust right there.
I don't even know what I'd be able to say at that point. I mean, that could arguably be one of the best nights of my life.
Yeah, like Saturday with just the Avs and Nuggets winning together, I was on cloud nine, and through Monday.
Also,
2 days.
Can we remember? Do you remember when the last time the Rockies won 2 games in a row?
Didn't we say is September 16th and 7th, 12th and 13th?
Yep. No, it's 16th and 17th. You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
2024. Last year was a 200, I think probably now up to around 227 days ago was the last time the Rockies won 2 games in a row. Man,
Or they can give it a shot tonight.
Give it a shot tonight against Jung-Hoo Lee and the San Francisco Giants.
That park is so unfun to watch games in because I feel like the Rockies just struggle. And they have been a team that scored a fair amount of runs, but every time they go there, they struggle to score. I can't imagine what this is going to look like when they're already struggling to score.
Kyle Freeland's getting his 207th start today.
It's going to be the same kind of playbook tonight. Like Rockies, Freeland starts well. They're tied 0-0 going in the 4th or 5th. Something shitty happens. There's a few fucking errors. Then the guys are bobbling the ball around. The Giants hit a triple right over by McCovey Cove, and then it's like they lose 5-0. That's kind of how I envision this game going.
If there's a Rocky that's going to hit a home run into McCovey Cove, who's it going to be?
It would probably have to be Tolia hitting from the left side, right? Which I'm going to make this take. I think I made it to you over text, but he should not be a switch hitter. I think Michael Tolia, and shouts to him, he was in a Ryan McMahon slump to start the year. And this last homestand between both of the couple RBIs, couple home runs, like he is starting to figure it out a little bit. And I think his average is at 220, which not great, but also the 230, 240 is something that we can live with. We also had a super chat. Did you see that?
I did see that. We're going to get to that in a moment. Do you remember where we were when you told me that you think Tolia should not be a switch hitter? We were on the rooftop doing the rooftop party. That was when you told me. Do you remember what happened the very next at bat for Tolia?
Did he hit a home run?
No, he hit that triple or the double or whatever that went into the gap.
Yes.
And you looked at me and you were like, well, fuck me, dude.
Maybe I'm wrong, which is not surprising at this point.
Right. That's the way it is. Hey, shout out to Burge for the super chat. He says, speaking of attending games, do we know how many games a year that the owner, Dick Momford, actually attends in person? It's a great question. I don't know the exact number. I would imagine it's high just because it's easy to get there from his penthouse right across the street. What I will say is that he was wandering around the press box the other day randomly. I don't know if I wouldn't like to say he was lost because he obviously knows where he's going, but
Lost
he
in
looked
his own house.
he looked confused as to where he was. And I'm sitting there, we're looking around, we're like, why is Dick Mumford just walking around the media, like the media dining room and everything like that? He wasn't even talking to anyone. He was just walking around. So that was interesting. I felt like that was a place he probably didn't want to be in that moment. Maybe a little bit better than ending up in, I don't know, the rooftop or something like that accidentally for him. But I've seen him only twice so far this year. Opening day and then, a couple days ago when we saw him walking around, the press box. So I have not seen him around there very much. To be honest, I've actually seen Todd Helton more. Again, I could be wrong. He could be sitting up in some fancy suite away from prying eyes. But I personally, being at 90% of the game so far at Coors Field, have not seen him there.
And I obviously can't speak to this as much because when I'm there, I'm in seats or in the rooftop. But I did see, I think it was somewhere along the lines of that article that got written about the Rockies, and that's kind of blowing up about how hard it is to win here. And I read that.
Yeah.
And I do think there is a snippet in there of something about the fact that Dick Monfort has attended every home game. Now, I could be misrepresenting it, but not every home game, but is at probably 90% of all the home games played at Coors Field. So there was a snippet in there that said something about that specifically, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it makes sense that he would go to a lot of the games just given how close he is. And he also loves baseball. But at the same time, again, you probably don't want to be showing your face around too much. I was talking to one of the other, someone who works for Rockies television, and she was saying that she was in the elevator and Dick Monfort came in to the elevator and she accidentally dropped him off. He had asked her to press, one of the elevator buttons, and she accidentally dropped him off on the lower level, or not the lower level, the first level where it's just all the fans, the concourse. And she was like, oh, I don't want to be here. Yeah, she's like, damn, I just threw Dick Mumford out there to the fans. So yeah, I would imagine he doesn't wander around too much. Was it last year that he shook people's hands at the first game of the year, at the home opener? Was that, am I remembering that correctly, where he was out at the gates shaking people's hands?
Yes, he was. Because I think
that's shocking to me.
I think I tweeted about that because I think I saw him. Oh man, let me see if I can find this. But I do believe I think you're onto something there because I think I saw him.
And this was before I was even covering the Rockies. I was just the casual Rocky fan, right? I was the fan who was watching from afar. And I remember seeing that and thinking to myself, man, good for him, man, for having the balls to get out there and greet the fans, because I would not if I was in his shoes.
Look at the balls on Dick.
Given what the fans think of him. Yeah, given what the fans think of him. I mean, and Cole makes a good point. I would also guess that he's probably getting some grief from the other MLB owners. I've heard that that's actually, I know he's friends with a couple other MLB owners. I know, so he's not hated within the ownership group, but I would imagine that he's not viewed among the other owners as someone that is taken very seriously. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know him personally, but I would imagine that those relationships don't have as much depth as you would think. Steinbrenner did back in the day, or those kind of relationships. So I don't know. I've always said, and look, I'm not sitting here just trying to shit on Dick Monfort's parade this entire time, but I will say from a critical analysis perspective, he doesn't talk to the media. His decisions that he's made as an owner have not benefited the Colorado Rockies as a whole long term. So there's not really a lot of good things to say about him,
Well, and he's aloof too. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of throws me off and throws the fan base off, is if you act like you're losing, then you don't act like that. Yeah. And Buddy Black, even, that's why yesterday I was so taken back. You're you've taken the bullets a million times and seen the pressers, so you're used to it. But I was watching that presser and I was like, who the fuck are you, dude? Yeah. You act like you just won a 6 series in a row or have a 7-game winning streak. You won 1 game in the month of April, basically. And you're out here shitting on some of the reporters for the questions they're asking. They're the ones that got it bad. They have to go, all of us have to go to all these games and fucking talk about it.
Elite comment in the Toyota chat by Will Carpenter, sent from my iPad. The fact that he responds to Rockies fans is still incredible. And again, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds here, but we got to wrap up the show here. We got only 30 seconds left. of this show. But Rockies, I would be shocked if we would get a win against the Giants. It could happen.
I got open parlay. Pick one today.
If it's going to happen,
Giants ML today, Giants ML tomorrow.
Tonight, it's got to happen tonight. And to use the words of Wilson the Ghost, take me out. Not to the ball game, just take me out. Just end it, please. We're ending the show here on the DNVR Rockies podcast. Appreciate you guys for hanging out in the chat with us. We'll see you guys next week. This has been the DNVR podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.